Imagine a bank heist. What do you see? Ski masks, assault rifles, a getaway car screeching through city streets. For a century, this was the reality of theft. You needed physical force. You needed to break through steel vaults, bypass alarms, and outrun the police. But the greatest robberies of our generation don't require a single weapon. They don't require explosives. They don't even require the thief to be in the same hemisphere as the bank. Today, criminals don't break through the vault, they break through the human mind. In early 2020, a branch manager of a major corporate bank in the United Arab Emirates sat at his desk. It was a normal Tuesday, the middle of the financial quarter, the busiest time of the week. He was surrounded by millions of dollars in digital assets, protected by the most advanced cybersecurity systems money could buy: firewalls, biometrics, multi-factor authentication. But the hackers looking at his profile didn't care about the firewalls. They knew that in any security system, the weakest link is never the machine. The weakest link is always the human. To pull off a $35 million heist, the hackers didn't write complex malware to destroy the bank's servers. They decided to manipulate the manager's psychology. They knew the manager was a loyal employee. They knew he deeply respected the director of the company. And they knew the director was a powerful, impatient man who hated delays. If the hackers could just become the director, they could bypass every security protocol in the building. But how do you become someone else? You steal their identity. And in the digital age, the most powerful biometric signature you have is your voice. How do you steal a human voice? A decade ago, it was impossible. You could hire a professional impersonator, but under the stress of a live phone call, the illusion would quickly break. The cadence would be wrong. The breathing would be unnatural. The victim would notice. But modern hackers no longer rely on human impersonators. They rely on deep learning. The director of this company was a highly successful public figure. He regularly gave interviews on financial news networks. He spoke at global business conferences. He hosted quarterly earnings calls that were uploaded to the internet. His voice was everywhere. The hackers simply downloaded these public YouTube videos and corporate podcasts. They gathered hours of high-quality audio. Then they fed this data into an advanced neural network, an AI designed specifically for vocal synthesis. This AI doesn't just copy the sound like a tape recorder. It maps the biological architecture of the person's vocal cords. It learns the micro-expressions of the voice, the way the director breathes between long sentences, the slight raspy texture when he emphasizes a specific word, the exact rhythm and pitch of his speech. Within a few hours, the neural network had built a flawless digital clone, but a pre-recorded audio file wouldn't be enough to fool a seasoned bank manager. To bypass his suspicion, the hackers needed to have a dynamic, live conversation. They needed to react to his questions in real time. To do this, they used real-time voice conversion software. The lead hacker would speak into a microphone in his own voice, in his own room, thousands of miles away. The AI software would instantly intercept his audio, translate it into the director's voice, and transmit it over the phone line with zero delay. The ultimate digital mask. The trap was perfectly set. It is now 2:14 p.m. The manager is buried in paperwork. Suddenly, his private office phone rings. He glances at the caller ID. It's the director. He picks up the receiver. "Hello? I need your help with something highly confidential," the voice replies. The manager sits up straight. It's the director. The voice is absolutely flawless. There is no robotic stutter, no unnatural pitch, no static. It carries the exact tone of authority the manager has heard 100 times before. The fake director begins to explain the situation. The company is secretly acquiring a rival firm. It is a hostile takeover, highly sensitive. If the press or the competitors find out, the entire deal will collapse. "I have just sent you an email with the wire instructions from our legal team," the voice says, sounding urgent. "It is for $35 million. We need this routed to our offshore accounts to close the acquisition immediately. Can I count on you to handle this quietly?" Notice the brilliant psychological manipulation happening here. The hacker creates a sense of extreme urgency, triggering a stress response in the manager's brain. At the same time, he makes the manager feel important, trusted with a massive corporate secret. And crucially, he explicitly tells him not to talk to anyone else about it. The manager checks his inbox. The email is there. It appears to be from the director with official legal documents attached. The documents are forged, created using stolen corporate letterheads, but the manager doesn't look closely. Why would he? He is literally talking to his boss on the phone. I am processing it right now, sir, the manager says. With a few keystrokes, the manager uses his executive authority to bypass the standard multi-day security checks. He hits approve. The transfer is complete, the manager says. Excellent work, the voice replies. I will speak to you later. Click. The line goes dead. $35 million, traveling at the speed of light, leaves the bank. It bounces to an account in Dubai, and then the nightmare truly begins. The illusion held for hours. It wasn't until late that afternoon, when the manager spoke to the real director during a scheduled video conference, that reality crashed down around him. How did the acquisition go? The manager asked, smiling. The director looked confused. What acquisition? Panic set in. The IT department was scrambled, law enforcement was notified, but it was far too late. The moment the money hit the offshore accounts, it was subjected to an automated laundering script. The 35 million was instantly broken down into thousands of smaller transactions. It was converted into cryptocurrency, pushed through dark web crypto mixers, and scattered across the globe into untraceable digital wallets. The hackers left no physical evidence, no fingerprints, no IP addresses that didn't lead to dead-end proxies in hostile jurisdictions. They had committed the perfect crime using software that anyone can download from the internet. This was not an isolated incident. Since that day, AI voice cloning attacks have skyrocketed. The technology has only become cheaper, faster, and more accessible. Hackers are no longer just targeting billionaires, corporations, and bank managers. They are targeting everyday people. They clone the voice of a crying daughter to scam a terrified mother. They clone the voice of a friend asking for emergency cash to fix a broken-down car. We grew up believing that seeing is believing, that hearing is knowing. We rely on our senses to tell us what is real and what is fake. But technology has crossed a terrifying threshold. The digital world can now flawlessly replicate the physical one. The next time your phone rings, the next time you hear the voice of someone you love or someone you trust asking for a favor, asking for money, or asking for a password, take a second, listen closely. Are you absolutely sure you know who is on the other end of the line? Or is it just the ghost of a machine?